Welcome back, everyone, to Ausmerican Aces. It's TFG Tuesdays, and we are joined by Toby Green every single week on a Tuesday. Tobes, what a win over the Dees. You just somehow just claw yourself over the line every time against the Dees. How's the rig after that big win?
Good. Feel good. It was good to it's good to tick that off. It was a bit of a slog and very wet in Melbourne yesterday. So one of those games that it can go either way, and good to get on the plane with 4 points. That's for sure. But feel fine. Pulled up all good.
Mate, it's a big swing, isn't it, in the AFL landscape? Like that one kick game, the 8-point swing. It's enormous going into this bye. No Hogan, no Stringer. Geez, Tommy Green, the fitness staff, big shout out to Paulos and the boys, Dan the man. They've got him back flying 35-1 in a comeback game with a calf. You boys are just on fire, really. You couldn't have started better.
Yeah, no, it's a good start, but there's lots of weird results happen the first round, as you see. So it's good to get a win. Greener was huge as well, and he did a lot to make sure he got back before the bye. So that was a positive. And then we get a fair few boys back this week, but I don't know what that looks like for the team coming in after the bye. But it's a good position to be in, but still a lot of work to do. So looking forward to it.
Oh, you're very humble. You're very humble on TFG Tuesdays. Let's start off with King Keefe. Tell me he was throwing his head around. He wouldn't have been able to walk through the door after kicking the sealer. Tell me he just put the chest out in the showers and told the boys a few funny stories, because that's probably one of the biggest moments of Keefe's career.
Oh, it would be the biggest, I think, or the biggest kick of his career. It was unreal. Good to see it go through. He got the business class on the way home, mate, and he just had a champagne to celebrate. So it was good to see.
Is that actually true?
No, it's not, but he wanted it.
He deserves it, the big fella.
No, it was good, mate. It was a big kick for him. It was still 50 metres, 45 metres set shot, and he flushed it as soon as it came off the boot. You sort of knew it was in. So huge for us and huge for him. It was great to see.
Oh, mate, I must say, I don't want to dog Keefe, but I've seen him have a couple of shots before, and I was going, come on, Keefe, just in case you kick a point, we need the rebound opportunity, but never in doubt, absolutely flushed it, and must have been a sign of relief for the big man. And on Maxi Gawn, there's actually a discussion going around, but he might have had Gawney's measure.
Gawney was pretty good at centre bounce, but he's pretty hard to stop. But he did a great job, and to finish it off like that. And if you probably watch that clip out, he sort of takes Gawney for a run in that last kick out, and ends up on the end of it, and Gawney's sitting in the hole a bit. So great kick by Wardy and good play by Keefe, and then obviously the finish was pretty special, and good way to win a game, that's for sure.
One thing the media do, they always love to just polish whoever's on the end of it. But the work before it, I know Witters kind of miskicked it, but it was a perfect kick in the end because it caught everyone off guard. And the smarts of Darcy Jones to just whack it to space, the speed from Finn Callaghan to get on it, win the 50-50 ball, get it moving, Cogs's hands so clean, and then Wardy just delivering it. That whole play it's why you guys are so good, and you see it on the training track. You guys do a lot of skills, but that play in itself it's as good as it gets, really.
Yeah, it was a lot of things went right. Finn's hands was exceptional. That's that's part of our game plan a little bit. So it's not really luck, and for Finn to get onto it and be clean the way he was, and Cogs and Wardy to make the right decision. The kick out's probably not a bad one as well either, because that scrap kick, often it ends up with whoever's the most proactive, and we were certainly in a position trying to win the game. So worked out unreal. I can't say it was a set play, but there's some things that we certainly practiced during training that were part of it.
A bit of the tsunami, mate. It was the tsunami wave. It looked elite on tally. I'll give you the tip. It was just everything went our way there. But it was an amazing game. What is it with the Dees? I just wanted to ask you, it's 3 games now, as I said, decided by less than a kick, I'm pretty sure. And all gone the Giants' way. But credit to the Dees. They looked, they were tough, and they had Stephen May pull out before the game. They match up well against the Giants.
Yeah, they're a good team. And they'll be tough to beat this year. Their midfield's as good as any. 2 of those games, one was Alice Springs, I think 2 years ago, which was almost the worst conditions I reckon I've ever played in. We trained for a 40-degree heat day, and it was the coldest conditions I've ever played in, and the ground was chopped up. So that made that game close. And then I guess the conditions yesterday were close as well. So played in a couple of scraps against them. So there's a bit of luck involved in that as well. But it's great to come out with with wins in all those games. But yeah, they are a bloody solid team, that's for sure.
You're helping a lot of the young kids with your fifth quarter camps and growing the game in New South Wales. What's a tip you can give a young kid when it does start to rain? Because you're very good in the wet. And you're obviously very good in the dry, but you're just so clean. What's a tip you can give a young kid that's listening?
For me, probably a little bit different how I play is I sort of come back to the ball a little bit more. As a forward, you sort of got to lengthen and be ready for that, chain handball and be ready to make your lead. But in the wet, you can't really do that. You got to sort of be on your toes, anticipate surge a little bit more, and probably come back and support the contest a bit more and try and help and get involved and get the ball forward that way. That's probably the biggest thing for me as a forward. And then if you're in the midfield, it's just clean. Just how clean are you? How much do you work on it? And how much can you embrace a contest? So they're the two things, I guess, for a midfielder and a forward in the wet that I'd think about.
Yeah, really well said, mate. A lot of little gems there for people listening and watching. Your game, I know you're not going to pump yourself up. I'll pump yourself up. 3 goals, 3. You had 23 posies, but you just were enormous. Your role looked like it changed as the game went on. We needed a little bit more of you around the ball, and you were around the ball. Did you play a bit more midfield in the second half?
Oh, just the last quarter, really. Played, pretty much on ball the whole quarter or just about. We sort of dropped the tag on Petrarca, and so Snooze went and played forward, and I went and played mid. And I felt good. Like I felt like I was still running on top of the ground, and was able to help contribute in there. And we had some ascendancy in that last quarter, but we didn't really quite convert until the last kick of the game, really. So I felt good, and hopefully something I can add a fair bit more to.
Well, you look good, mate, and it's a nice little thing because we know Snooze is very quick and his pressure's elite, and you could see that he kept the ball up there at times. They made some big tackles, and Petrarca, he's such a beast. He would have been one of the hardest, I reckon, Snooze has had to tag. We'll get to Petrarca in a second because I want to talk about him and a little bit of off-field with him leaving Paul Connors. We'll get to that. But undefeated at the G for the season hasn't happened much, but you're a bit stiff not to get more games at the G, considering you are very exciting to watch. What's your thoughts on the AFL not scheduling the Giants at the G more than once?
I can understand it from a economic and commercial point of view, but it'd be good to have at least two there. But I think we might have had 2 last year. I can understand it, but I guess hopefully we're back there in 5 months' time. But it'd be nice to have at least 2, but it's not the way it is, so we can't help it too much. But I'd certainly prefer more than one, but I don't make those decisions, mate. Just told where to rock up.
Well, the commissioner does, and you've got a bit of pull. You are the TFG, all Australian skipper a couple of years ago. Is there a message you've got for him for next year?
I'll talk to Richard at the captain's day next year and just say, mate, can you give us 2 maybe? Just 2. One early, one late would be nice, but I don't think we've ever would have had more than 2 there. But it's a great ground to play at, and when it's loud and when there's a big crowd there, it's growing up as a kid, it's the best place to play footy.
Well, you always seem to play well there as well, so we need more than 2, in my opinion. I want to go back to the rooms after the game. Footy's a really fun place when you win, and it sucks when you lose. But the rooms, I was spewing. I had my cousin, happy birthday to Madison, her 10th birthday, so I couldn't go. But I was watching on tally, and it just looked loud, and like it always is when you win. But obviously the Melbourne crowd and families were all there in the rooms. It was pretty exciting. Just what was it like? Did you have a couple of laughs in the showers? Any more banter? I just missed that stuff. And with King Keefe kicking the goal, you wouldn't have predicted that. So I just would have thought the ice bath would have been a bit more enjoyable than normal.
No, it was, mate. As you know, especially when you're travelling, the difference between a win and a loss like that's just huge in terms of atmosphere and vibe on the bus and plane home. Keefe walked into the coaches' meeting late after the game, and everyone just started bowing. So it was good. It was amazing to see him. It was just so funny and good for him. And couldn't have picked a better bloke to kick the winner. So And then, the vibes are very high in the showers, mate. Boys got the tunes pumping. So it's the best part of footy, that half an hour when you're after a good win like that.
When he walked in, did Kingers say anything like, because he's pretty dry, Kingers, did he say anything when he come in?
No, he just said, all hail our king and let him sit down and take his seat.
Honestly, if you don't know who Keefe is, he's one of the best blokes and his story's unbelievable. Go learn it. But, mate, well done to Keefe and well done to you and the boys. Just on, I've got a random one. Finn Callaghan, I've been so impressed with him, but why I'm so impressed is his speed. Like, he is so explosive. I knew this last year, but I think maybe because he's on ball and we're seeing more of him. Who's quicker over 20? Him, Cal Brown, or Darcy Jones?
No, Darcy would be the quickest over 20, and then Brownie over 100 would be the quickest at the club, I reckon. But all three, it'd be a bloody good race. But Darcy's just about the quickest in the comp, and Brownie would be the quickest almost over 100, I reckon.
Darcy must be quick. You got a lot of excitement machines. Well, mate, Finn looked explosive on tally. I tell you what, he is. I'm so glad that Giants signed him up. Honestly, I've been nothing but impressed. But his speed, when you see someone just explode away from people in AFL, you just know they're quick. Let's move on, mate. Well done. It's good to just dive straight in after a Sunday game and a huge game that was. Petrarca looked good in his return game. Credit to him. He looked like a beast out there. He got away from the tag a little bit. Like when you get tagged, normally snooze keeps him to less than 15, but he's just such a bull, isn't he? Like he's hard to stop.
Yeah, he's hard to stop, hard to tackle, and can go forward. So he would have played a fair bit forward as well, and just he's got some tricks, that's for sure. And yeah, he's one of the best players in the comp for a reason.
I want to talk about Petrarca because I know you're managed by Paul Connors at CSM, that is Connors Sports Management, and it's quite topical at the moment, but Petrarca has left. He's gone to another company, obviously for more commercial marketing type of operations there with his cooking, I'd imagine. But I just wanted to talk to you about what's your management and commercial marketing setup like, because I know Connors Sports has invested in this space. I just wanted to understand a little bit more about who looks after your stuff off field and who looks after your contracts.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic, I guess, because it's probably changing the way footy's going a little bit with such big contracts coming in and bigger commercial opportunities than we've ever seen. So yeah, Connors have a great relationship with the guys at Made Sport, who I got a great relationship with Will and Jay there, who do all my off field sort of commercial stuff with. Not that I do a whole heap maybe compared to some of the bigger names in Melbourne, but they do a lot for a lot of boys at CSM. So Paul's he was onto that early and invested in that space. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out because hearing Rory Sloane talk about it last week was interesting. How it might be that American football model where guys have an accountant, have a financial manager, have a commercial manager, and have a contract manager. Obviously, the AFL doesn't have that sort of money yet, but there is some opportunities there for, I guess, private equity guys or those bigger international management firms to potentially enter Australia. So it's an interesting space, I reckon, over the next 10 years.
Certainly is. So Made and Connors Sports Management actually have a partnership and they've been in business for a while. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so they came on board a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and Made's been great for Connors, and I've got a super strong relationship with Paul, and as you know, I've had him since we were 18, so I get along with him really well, and the team, they're awesome and got some great friends out of it, lifelong friends. So they're certainly heavily invested in this space, and they know that there's huge opportunity. So it's just an interesting topic, I reckon.
It's good to see. I mean, that's why Paulie Connors is the best in the business, and to see them investing in this company, Made. Talk to me about Made. What are they doing for TFG? What is it that they actually do? So someone listening right now can understand commercially and marketing wise. What are they actually doing?
Lots really. I sort of got a partnership with Toyota that was through them. And lots of little opportunities that pop up throughout the year. That's predominantly all through them. Where all commercial opportunities. I do some fifth quarter stuff, fifth quarter camps that we have a business with Isaac Heaney Jade and Will are a big part of. So, we do lots together, and it's guys I really enjoy working with.
Yeah, that's awesome. So they really manage the back end. You guys are the face. You guys worry about, what you need to do, which is footy, but they really do the heavy lifting behind the scenes with fifth quarter camps, the Toyota campaigns, all the rest of the operations behind the scenes, while Paul Connors and the boys, Durazio and everyone else there, they're looking after purely contract and footy matters, right?
Yeah, and Paul, well, he's probably had a few more matters with me than he would have liked throughout the year. So he's I've got the money worth, that's for sure. But he's been good to me, Paulie. That's sort of how it works. Yeah, it's sort of I split the commercial opportunities, and then Paul, does all the contract and sort of technical matters when it comes to management.
Do you think it's rocked him that Petrarca's left?
Well, I don't really know. I don't know the story too well, but I imagine he'd got a pretty close relationship. So, yeah, probably. He wouldn't be thrilled about it, I imagine. But I'm not really sure exactly how or why it's played out. But, I can't really comment too much. But Paul's got a good relationship with just about all his players. I think except Fev. I think Fev sacked him, so he was the only one.
There you go. Well, I think he gets paid out. So it could have been, a nice little sweetener. You get your footy contract and I'll go in commercially. Just dominate me food contracts and whatnot. What about off field? We were talking about this on our AFL show with Daisy and Wall, but there's Toby Green, the player, Toby Green, the brand. And a lot of people, I reckon, when we started our career, I speak on behalf of myself here, but the old school kind of operators would be like, mate, what are you doing over there? Just worry about your football. But it's changed a lot now. Like, you can really dominate off field if you've got something. And obviously, you see Baz Lenke, you see your Dacosses, you're seeing on track with it. There's a lot of opportunities and you can be making more money off field. What's your thoughts on it? Are there anyone at the club that's starting to dive in off field and have a fair income crack?
No, it's great. I think it's awesome, and it's certainly the way footy's going. So you got to embrace it, but it's not for everyone either. It does sort of bring a bit more pressure on yourself, and there's a lot of external noise sometimes around guys who do those sort of things. But no, it's good. It's good for everyone. Good for the competition. The guys at the Giants, it's probably it is a lot harder than what it is for the big Melbourne or Perth clubs to get those sort of opportunities. So if it does pop up for our boys, I'll be saying go all in, because it's not easy, and as you said, it's a great way to make some money on the side. And if you've got a brand, then you should be using it.
Well done, mate. Because I think coming from someone like you, who's a big figure in the game and also the skipper, it is intimidating if you have the other opinion. I think it's really important that you take that side, and these young guys can express themselves, because, as we know, there's some people that are quite creative and quite intelligent, and footy, if it doesn't work out, they can fall back to other things. Mate, I want to get you, let's get straight onto the latest news. Obviously, no game coming up this week, so we've had a good chat there, but I'm keen for your thoughts. This might be very cheeky of me, but I'm going to start with the match review panel. North Melbourne defender Jackson Archer, he's been handed 3 weeks. I know they'll be challenging as this is being edited, guys, so this could change, but 3 weeks he's been handed after colliding with Luke Cleary. First of all, Luke, I hope you're all right. It was a massive hit. It was a bit of an accident. I just want to know what your thoughts are. I'm not going to talk about the other ones. I just want your thoughts on that one. What do you think 3 weeks is a bit harsh?
Yeah, it's when you watch it in full speed, it's a big hit. They're going pretty quick, and it's kind of that's what it is though. It's 3 weeks or zero. It's high impact, high contact, and it's just whether or not it's careless or it's a football act. So can't really argue whether it should be 1, 2, or 3. It's either 3 or 0, and I don't know. I'm sort of. I think he was just probably a fraction too late to argue that it's a football act, and he almost snaps his leg as well. So it's probably a little bit in the technique there as well. But everyone will have an opinion on it. But I can understand why they've given it 3.
Do you think if he had have snapped his legs, it would have been 0?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
It's such a weird one. I probably shouldn't even talk because we don't want that. But it was it's a contact game. I'll speak on behalf of myself. I just think if it's going to be, they're going to have accidents. It's a contact sport. I felt like he was really stiff. I mean, the most important thing is Luke Cleary's all right, and apparently he's fine and he's back at training, which is fantastic. But it was a nasty scenario, and it's one of those ones where, unfortunately, they do happen, don't they? Like, that's what happens in contact sport. You just get one of them every now and then.
Yeah, it was a bad one, and you could sort of see from the reaction around the ground. You could tell it was nasty, and so it's glad that he's all good, and because they can be bad, they can be really bad. So it is. You're right. There'll be 4 or 5 of them a year, and it's part of the sport. But yeah, so it's a tough one. It'd be interesting to see how that tribunal case goes. There's certainly an argument for him. So I guess we'll wait and see.
Well said, mate. Let's move on. Let's get to Richmond's comeback win. It was enormous. Did you sit on the couch and watch the blockbuster Thursday night football?
I did. I was with Georgia, and it was half time. I said, I'll go to bed. I like to read a book before bed, and then check the scores halfway through the last. I said, geez, what's happened here? So watched the last 5 minutes. Geez, it was incredible. I was barracking hard for Richmond. I think half of Australia was. So it was good to see. It was a pretty incredible win. To be like, that's as good as win as you get this year, I reckon.
And that's what we love about sport, right? Like, it doesn't matter what day it is. You just, 22 v 22, who's the best on their day? And idiots like me and Daisy, we're talking 50, 60 points. We look like absolute mugs, but our mates from Richmond, Lynchy and Broady, they're going, well, we won't win a game all year. They've really shut us all up, and that's why we love it.
Yeah, it's good. That's what makes footy so watchable. I don't know how they've done it, but they did it. It was, but it'd be interesting to see how they go this week. And it reminded me of our team in 2013, 2012. Just so many young kids running around, and we certainly didn't win. We only won one, so they've already done that already. So it was an unreal game of footy. Great way to kick off the round.
100% it was. Now, it was one of the biggest comebacks we've seen. I think it was 41 points. Don't quote me, but somewhere like that. I just wanted to ask you, what's the biggest win, or what's the biggest comeback win you've ever had at the Giants?
Yeah, I might have been Bulldogs a few years ago. That would have been 35 or something, maybe. We let a couple of leads go in the finals. They're the ones against us, but
we won't talk about the ones.
Yeah, we'll forget about them. I think it may be that. I don't know if we've ever had a 40-pointer, but they're good wins when you get them.
Oh, mate, and they're good to watch, aren't they? It doesn't matter who it is. You've got no interest in either team, but you're always kind of going for the underdog, and it's good to see.
It might have been against Carlton actually last year. It might have been 40-something. They kicked like the first 9 goals, so it was probably actually against Carlton.
What about in sport? I know you love sport. You love all sports. Is there a game, even as a kid or anyone, did you just remember a moment where there was a huge comeback and you'll never forget it?
Yeah, there's a couple. I remember when the Bombers were up against Carlton. I remember being at the game. I reckon I was with Tom Mitchell when I would have been 14 or something. I think Fev kicked 8 in the second half. I was a big Essendon and Nuffy, and we were up by 50 points, and they come back and beat us by a goal, I reckon. And Fev kicked 8. I remember that game. I think I walked out crying. And then, that Super Bowl game, that Brady one, Patriots versus, I think it was the
Atlanta
Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons.
I remember watching that in the cafe at the Giants at halftime. I'm like, it's just game over. And to see that unfold was pretty cool. On the biggest stage.
That's the biggest comeback I reckon I've ever seen. If you understand the game, it's almost impossible, really, what he did there. But we love him. We love. I hope there's another one next week. It just makes the game so good. And it was. I know, Big Dan Gorringe. I think Goz has just timed his run perfectly with the Blues because I couldn't wait to just see how he's reacted. He's changed his name to Richmond, but I think he's legitimately trying to change his name to Richmond because he's come out with some bold statements. So it's good to see him with he's a man of integrity. Righto. And what else have I got? I've got one more here, and I want to talk about as a player, right? The media, and mate, you can throw me in there, but we're very harsh week to week now because that's what we're talking about, just footy and talking about the latest news. But when I remember we were playing, it's never as bad, never as good. When do you think it's fair for someone to judge externally on a team? Like, what round do you go, yep, you can absolutely let rip now? Is it after you get beat by 91 points in round one, or you rock up and go down to Geelong and you don't even try, or you get beat by Richmond, or is it you give them 4 to 5 weeks? What's your take on that?
Yeah, you give them 5 to 6, I reckon. You sort of get a sense for how the season's starting to play out. You also have bad runs during the year. Like you'll be good for 6, bad for 3, good for 6, bad. Like footy's a long season. You don't play 24 good ones. So, no, you got to take a bit of a holistic approach, and certainly, probably look at it in 6-week blocks. And I think we won 6 in a row last year, and then lost 6 in a row. So, it certainly happens, and it's a long season, so you'll get some weird results.
Oh, mate, we're certainly getting a few weird ones, and the tipping's just killing me. I don't know if you're in our tipping comp, but it's been a rough start. Well said, mate. I think 5 to 6 is fair. All right, well, mate, it's been good. I'm going to talk to you about your super coach. There's a lot of people last week that got around, and we want to encourage comments. YouTube, hit them up. Tobes loves them. You love reading them. You text me the other day, don't you?
I did. I got a few. Had a good look at a few, and I actually butchered my super coach. Well, I didn't butcher it because I won my first round and a second highest score, mind you, in the Giants league. But because I was panicking a bit, and then I had picked 3, and I couldn't work out on the app how to look who took pick 1 and 2. So I went to defenders. I was going to take Sheasel, couldn't find him. Went to ruck. Was going to take Sherry, couldn't find him, and then I got 10 seconds to pick, and I'm in the forwards. And the first name I see is Luke Jackson, so I've just clicked on him. Thought I was going to get timed out. So, well, it's a TBC to see how that one plays out. But he's a ruckman, and they score well, and I've got him as a forward. So, it's going to determine whether I finish top 4 or bottom 4, I think. But off to a good start, mate. Had some good results, and got chooked this week, so looking for 2 in a row.
I haven't played. We've got the super coach, but I'm partnered with someone on it. Just said, mate, me and you, let's go 50-50. He's selected the team, but where does someone like yourself go? Like, you would have rated all right this week. 3 goals, 23. You're up involved in the contest. Like, did you score well? And do you know who took you and what pick?
I don't know what I scored, but I picked later on. I wouldn't be picking myself. I'm not really a super coacher. I picked Hogs as so I'll be trying to kick it to him next week. So it'll be I think Binger would have gone high, and guys like Dylan Moore and some of those forwards. Bailey Smith was a forward. Luke Jackson. So they're sort of the premium types.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll tell you what, Lukey Jackson, I'm a big fan of him, but him and the whole Dockers team, they need to fire the effing hell up, because that was pathetic last
your
week.
Boys, mate. Your boys.
Oh, they knocked me out of the profit propeller, Tobes. Oh, it's filthy. Let the boys down. Right, I want to get to a couple of questions before we get to the bye. Here we go. Desired Films on YouTube here. Love the show. Can you ask Toby what Aussie hip-hop he listens to? I know he loves his King Cursor.
I do. The boys at the club hate it. No one pays any respect to me. But it's I'll just chuck it on when I can in the car by myself. Curse gets a good run. There's a few sort of the old school ones. Listen, SA, I like them. But 1-4, not bad sometimes. They're not as much my go, but some good ones, mate.
Love it. Well, we've got 3 there for the great man. Nat Z would love to have a segment, Toby's top 3, where he rates his 3 best players from the weekend. There you go, mate. Maybe something we can cook up for the next few weeks.
Yeah, you can go off the cuff. What do you
go off the cuff now? Top 3 this weekend.
Top 3. All right. Sam Lawler. You can tell he's going to be a good player.
Oh, mate, is he not? Is he not like Dusty / Cripps / just anything?
Yeah, he's just powerful. Can take a mark. That's when you just see it and you go, yep, he's going to be a gun. Keefe has to be in there.
Oh, he's got King Keefe at 2 or 1. I mean, you can't have Keefe at 2, can you?
We'll get him at just his clutch. That's as good a goal as you're going to kick. 2. I did see a little bit of that Gold Coast game on the flight. We were at the Virgin Lounge on the way home. think Noah Anderson's probably a little bit underrated. He just exposed Harley Reid on the playaway. So that was, he's obviously a new captain, and it was great to see him. It was a big performance from him. The Gold Coast really stitched him up.
They really
so he
did.
can go one.
There you go. I thought you would have gave King in the big forward a little polish, but you've gone with the mid, which is good. They look like the real deal. Do you think this is the year for them, just quietly while you're on them?
Oh, well, the year to make finals.
Yeah.
It'll be, well, they'll be thereabouts, no doubt, especially if they're really good at home again. So, they're going to be tough to beat. They're going to be a better team than last year. So, yeah, they'll be thereabouts.
What's the difference between making finals and not? Like when the Giants were young and you spoke about 2013, you won one game, but it wasn't long until you started really dominating. What did you find was the one thing that like you go, we're a serious team now?
Yeah, winning away from home consistently is probably the big thing. Gold Coast are a bloody good team at home. So getting road wins, it's not as, it's weird in footy. It's probably not as big a thing as what it is in maybe like soccer or NFL, but yeah, they're super important. And if you can get 5 or 6, then win most of your ones at home, you finish top 8, really. Yeah.
Well said. There you go. Win away, and you should be right. And they've done that really well to start. All right, mate. Well, it's bye week. Well earned. 2 wins. We get the Coleman back. The package. How's the package? Is he ready to go after the bye?
Yeah, he's good. His hammy's all good. He would have. Yeah, he'd be good to go this week. So he'll be nice and fit. And there's a few boys to pick from this week. So Ricka, Toby McMullen, Joe Fonte, they're all good. Harvey Thomas, Briggsy. So everyone's back. We're pretty locked and loaded. So Kingers might have a bit of a tough job next week.
Well, with Briggsy coming back and Keeffe playing ruck, you'd be the stiffest man to walk on the earth to be sent back to the twos after kicking that snag. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do at match committee with, do they go big, do they go small? But when you got depth, mate, that's a good problem to have. I'll tell you what, I saw a little video of the package and Callett just watching the last game. I thought he nearly did a hammy when he celebrated the package. He was up and about when I saw that video. It was good to see. A little bit of a bromance there, mate.
It was good.
A little bit of a bromance there in Bondi, Tobes.
Yeah, dynamic duo, those two.
All right, bye week. What do you got planned?
No, very low key. It's not really. You don't really need the bye after 2. So no, we'll be going pretty hard. I reckon Friday at training and very cruisy, mate. Just cruising in Sydney and yeah, it's not like the mid-season bye where you sort of hang out for it and your body needs a little spell. Feel really good. So, not too much on, mate.
Love it. Well, before I let you go, the bye is topical. I want to know what your thoughts are on the bye before the finals and the new concept with the play-in tournament that's being talked about. Are you for or against it?
4. It'd be interesting. I don't think you could win it from 7th though, which maybe you still can now. If you have the play-in, I think it makes it pretty hard if you got to win 5 in a row, because then you'd play 6v7 the week after. So it'd make it bloody hard in terms of that, but it'd be definitely good viewing and good content for the TV stations. I'm for it. It'd be interesting. And those top 6. It's more of an incentive to finish top 6, I guess, and they get a week off. So I reckon it'd be interesting. I reckon it comes in maybe next year.
I think you're right. I think there's not many. I mean, history, you shouldn't always go off history, but history does say it's very tough to win outside of the 6. So you might as well put on a little bit of a show for all us punters out there that just want to watch a bit of footy versus a bye. Well, mate, that's all I got for you, Tub. It's good to see you. Well done. I'm bloody pumped watching you blokes play. It was it's just good to have footy back. And it's good to see you, mate. I'm enjoying this and I hope you are too. Anything else from your end, mate, before we wrap up?
No, appreciate it, mate. How did your F1 drivers go, mate? Which ones were you following again?
I actually was following because it was, you know what? I think it was half time when the race was down to the last 3-4 laps. And our man, Piastri, mate, he spun out. He's sitting second. I couldn't Piastri. That's how you say his name. I always really stumble on it. But, mate, the Aussie was second. McLaren was sitting top 2, and then he spun out. It was dramas. And then what I don't like with the sport is, mate, when they're doing this, whatever you call the lap, when they're cleaning it up, they count the laps. The safety car. They count the laps. I'm going, they're losing laps here. So it's hard to get, he can't really pick up his position. But it was actually very exciting. The last 2 laps, Verstappen's a gun. He was just sitting up old mate's clucker from McLaren. And yeah, it was a really good race. But it was quite flattening to see the Aussie spin out, man. Like I was hoping someone would, make way for him, but wasn't the case.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how many people were at the airport dressed in different things. It was different team colours. You don't realise how big the sport is when I'm not a big fan. But it was amazing to see at the airport all the fans coming in from everywhere.
Yeah, and it kicks the F1 season off, so you can just see how excited they are. And yeah, as I was speaking to the old man about it, because I'm a bit like you, I don't follow it too heavily, but my sister's, she's crazy for it. And yeah, people travel all around the world with the circuit. So another big tick to Melbourne, mate. Another big Melbourne event. It was all happening Sunday. I'll give you the tip. But yeah, Mel's team, our good friend Mel, Mercedes, 3 and 4. They actually had a little protest with their second driver there. And I think I got the name there somewhere, but I won't repeat it, Toes. We had a mare last week with that. Well, mate, that's all I've got. Keep up the good stuff. Good work, and we'll chat next week. You'll have to give me something next week. You know what? Let's get creative next week because there's no games to talk about. Let's get some segments going. I know you want to do something different. And to everyone out there, comments. Hit the comment section up on YouTube. Tobes is reading them. We're reading them. But I think next week, let's do something different. Maybe I'll have a chat to you about we get a little guest on or something because there's no games to really talk about. So I reckon we can mix it up.
We'll get a concept in. Yeah, we might bring a special guest to come sit next to me.
Oh, look out. There you go. We'll get plenty of them. So, all right, mate, rest up. Go get some dinner and I'll chat to you soon.
Easy, mate. Thank you. Good to speak.
To everyone, thanks again for tuning into TFG Tuesdays right here on Oz American Aces. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all our social media channels and send this podcast to someone that just loves footy and loves a machine like the TFG. That's all I've got for you this week. We'll both see you right here on Oz American Aces next week. Take care.